I'm again the last demo of the day and the last speaker in this room. Yesterday I gave a talk about building cloud infrastructure with Ruby, and today I'm gonna present you my company that I'm building. And I got added to the list of demo speakers at 12:16 a.m. today. And full disclaimer, no slides, it's all live. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna build an AI agent from scratch, and you'll see that it's not that hard as people may imagine if they haven't done it before. At a high level, what we do, the company is basically allows you to build your custom AI agent that can handle customer requests via text, or SMS, or email. How it works, there are 3 simple steps at a high level. So first, you connect all your data services, databases to give your AI agent as much context as possible to perform certain tasks. Number 2, you define your agent instructions in plain English. No coding, no workflow builders, no like charts, and nothing more complicated than that. And then you enable tools and access to your data depending on the agent. So you can very granularly tell that, okay, for example, you have access to my users, but you don't have access to their emails, etc. So it's all powered by this open source project that we built. It's built in Go, but under the hood, what it does, it's basically stores all the data from different services in a scalable way, so the agents can use it as a single storage. Now imagine that in our service, we have this inbound email. So the customer asks for, let's say, Bemi AI, our company, can I connect my Postgres database via an SSH host? And can you share your static IPs, some technical stuff? And would this require a plan upgrade? So let's build an AI agent that can answer this question automatically. So to do that, I would need to go to the dashboard. Here, I pre-connected a few data sources. So step 1 is connecting your data sources. In my case, I'm connecting my Postgres database. I connected my Notion. Let me show you the Notion. So Notion here has some internal knowledge or procedures how I want to, for example, and has the knowledge basically for the AI agent. For example, it has knowledge about the difference between plans and, for example, our static IPs as an internal wiki. So another data source we have here is Google Docs. No, sorry, that's just regular docs, HTML page docs. So we have public documentation for our service. So if people want to connect Postgres, for example, by default, they would need to go to these docs and read like, okay, go navigate to this SSH tunnel thing and read how to actually do it, blah, blah, blah on these things. So we feed this information to our agent as well. And Gmail, I connected my inbox to Gmail. So it has access. So the way it works, all these data services, it's all kind of like in one place, and it's like a Postgres database. So I can show you here. So people can connect, or you can connect as it's regular Postgres using PSQL, Active Record, I don't know, you can connect Metabase, BI tools, etc. So it's all provisioned. All information here is in one place. So as you can see, I have like information and tables from my database. I have docs from Notion. For example, I can click on pages and I can see that my pages are synced. So they have the title, the entire context, plus there are some embeddings that help to perform semantic search. So now I'll be copy pasting a few snippets. So here it's like regular like AI that helps translate text into SQL, and it can perform the query as well. So as you can see, I asked the question and it translated it into this SQL and pulled the information for me. But that's just the data layer. So the next step is to enable some agent tools. So one, I will, let's say, connect my Gmail account, and I will tell that no, actually, let's start from something different. So what we can do, we can basically describe and specify SQL queries for the agent to run. So now it becomes not like this kind of like weird situation when agent performs different operations depending on how it may think to execute and run all these queries. So we can actually specify, okay, number one tool, you can list my last email from my inbox. The way it works is just regular SQL, regular Postgres, very obvious. So I can, okay, add this agent tool, done. So the next thing, I can teach my agent to tell, now pull the subscription information about my user by running these a little bit more complicated SQL queries with joins. So now it can run and perform a database query against my database, but what it does under the hood, it syncs everything, so it doesn't touch your database. Everything, it doesn't like overload your database, doesn't perform write operations. And here it's because it's agent tool calling, the way the tool calling works, they are supported by LLMs natively. So we describe in JSON, for example, here is the name of my tool, what it does, the description, here are the arguments that you can pass, and then LLM decides when to call this tool and which arguments to pass. So I created another tool that allows my agent to pull this information. Now I can finally connect my Gmail to allow the agent to create draft, for example, emails. I want to have a human in the loop and I don't trust it. So that can be done quickly with a few clicks, allow. Okay, now I have my Gmail account connected. Now it's time for us, so we enabled data, we enabled tools. Now it's time to create an agent. To do that, it's just plain text English. So for example, I can call my agent replier. I can provide some instructions, high-level instructions for my agent. So for example, oops, sorry, wrong text. It's hard to do it with one hand. I don't know how people do it. Okay, so at a high level, your work at a company called Bemi AI, we do this. Your goal is to respond to customer emails on behalf of the company. You can, for example, pull information from these data sources. You can run these tasks, be friendly, blah, 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 all these instructions. Now I can, yeah, thank you. That would be great. Thank you very much. So now I can tell, okay, which data I want my agent to access. By default, I can say, okay, you can access all these fields, all this information that is synced in real time from Postgres. Then I can tell, okay, which tools I want to allow you to use. And I can tell my agent to use all these tools that we defined. Also, we want to allow it to run semantic search, again, documentation. But I'm disabling these tools that allow my agents to do whatever it wants. We don't want that. Let's say Slack, we don't need it, and Gmail for drafting emails. So my agent is created. Now we can create a task that will tell the agent the instructions how to deal with emails or a particular situation. Here it's just like a regular, I got it. It's the last text that I wanted to copy. This is kind of like regular English, like logic. If you program in Ruby, it's very close because Ruby is great. But here, at a high level, pull the last inbound email, pull the subscription info, run a semantic search against the docs that is public. You can also reference the docs, I'm telling it as an instruction. Run a semantic search against our notion and create a draft email from behalf of my name. I can create this task. This task can be, let's say, executed with an API request. It can be run automatically, but here, for simplicity reasons, I will just run it manually so we can see how it works. So very familiar interface. Now it runs all these calls, and we can see, for example, pull this last email, and it pulls it from the database using our SQL query that we defined. Then it can pull the subscription information by knowing just the email address of the person, again, using our SQL query, and it returns this result in the JSON format. Then semantic search, it decides automatically what kind of like query to send. We don't, in this particular case, it decided to query and run a semantic search using this query: SSH jump host Postgres static IP addresses plan upgrade. So it's just listed all keywords, and it ran a semantic search. And then at the end, it basically drafted an email reply. So if I go back to my inbox and refresh, now we should see, I don't know, where is it? Here? Yeah, we should see this draft that it basically created. It says that, yeah, you can connect your Postgres. It listed the IP addresses from my Notion doc. It listed also the link to the documentation and said that, yeah, no plan upgrade is required because I'm already on a standard plan. So that's it. This is Bemi AI. It's not that hard to build AI agents. Basically, it's kind of like visual abstraction on top of Ruby LLM, for example. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out after that.